What if I told you that your brain generates enough electricity to light a light bulb? Or that sleeping burns more calories than spending hours watching TV? It may seem unbelievable, but it's pure science. Our body hides surprising secrets that few people know about, and understanding these details can change the way we see ourselves. Did you know that our nose and ears never stop growing? Or that the goosebumps we get when we listen to music are the result of a chemical reaction in the brain? Small details in our daily lives have explanations that go unnoticed, but make all the difference. And now you're going to discover some of the most incredible curiosities about the human body. Are you ready? If there is a true energy hog in the human body, that title goes to the brain. It may seem small compared to the rest of the body, but make no mistake, it alone consumes about 20% of all the energy we ingest. This means that, even without moving, your brain is burning calories all the time. It's like a high-performance sports car, which needs quality fuel to function properly. And do you know what happens when it doesn't receive enough energy? Slowness in reasoning, memory lapses, and even mood swings. That's why eating well is not just a question of aesthetics, but of keeping this machine sharp. Now, if the brain consumes so much energy, it makes sense to think about what to put on your plate, right? Foods rich in omega-3, such as salmon and walnuts, are a real turbo for the mind, helping with concentration and memory. Excess sugar, on the other hand, can cause energy spikes followed by sudden drops, making reasoning slower. And that's not all. Hydration is also crucial. A dehydrated brain works like an old computer, freezing up with every click. Drinking water throughout the day is a simple but powerful strategy to keep your thinking sharp. But the brain's energy doesn't come only from food. Sleep also plays an essential role in this process. During the night, while the body rests, the brain is working hard to consolidate memories, process information, and even solve problems. Have you ever noticed that good ideas come after a good night's sleep? Well, it's no coincidence. And speaking of rest, can sleeping be more productive than spending hours in front of the TV? That's an interesting question. It may not seem like it, but while the rest of the body reaches a growth limit, the nose and ears continue to expand throughout life. This is because these parts of the body are made of cartilage, which, unlike bones, never stops growing completely. What's more, gravity also helps, pulling these structures down as we age. Have you ever noticed that older people tend to have larger noses and ears? It's not an illusion, it's biology in action. Now, imagine that your nose and ears are like plants that never stop growing. Except, unlike plants, cartilage doesn't regenerate as well as bones. This means that, over time, it can lose elasticity and become more elongated. This phenomenon explains why some people develop that grandpa nose or floppy ears. But don't worry, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just a natural part of aging. And if aesthetics are a concern, there are facial exercises and massages that can help keep the skin firmer. Interestingly, this growth can even affect hearing and breathing. Larger noses can affect airflow, while larger ears can alter sound capture. This raises an interesting question. If our bodies change over time, do other structures we inherited from the past still make sense in modern life? For example, do wisdom teeth still have any use today? Wisdom teeth were once essential to our ancestors, who had very different diets than we do. Imagine a diet full of tough roots, raw meats, and fibrous vegetables. No knives, fire, or blenders. To get the job done, our ancestors needed wider jaws and an extra set of molars to grind food. But evolution doesn't mess around, and as our diets changed, so did our mouths. Today, many people are born without wisdom teeth or with them without room to grow. If these teeth were once our allies, today they can be a real nuisance. Because our jaws have shrunk over time, many wisdom teeth end up growing crooked or getting stuck inside the gums, which can cause inflammation and pain. That's why, in so many cases, dentists recommend extracting them. By the way, have you ever stopped to think that it's one of the few organs in the human body that we still have without a clear function? Like an old application that no longer has any use, but is still installed on the system. Interestingly, some people are born without any wisdom teeth at all, and this isn't a defect, but evolution in action. Over the centuries, it's possible that these teeth will disappear from the human species altogether. This phenomenon raises an interesting question. What other parts of the body might be changing without us even realizing it? After all, if the brain can generate enough electricity to light a small light bulb, who knows what other tricks it has in store? The human brain is a veritable powerhouse. Not only does it consume about 20% of the body's energy, it also constantly produces electricity. With every thought, emotion, or movement we make, billions of neurons fire electrical signals in a complex communication network. To give you an idea, the brain's electrical activity can generate about 20 watts, enough to light a small light bulb. This means that, as you read this, your brain is literally glowing with activity. But how does this happen? Each neuron works like a microbattery, transmitting electrical impulses from one to the other in fractions of a second. It is this process that allows you to make decisions, solve problems, and even create memories. Interestingly, this brain electricity can be detected by tests such as the electroencephalogram, EEG, which maps brain waves and shows how the brain is functioning. Now, think about it. If your mind is already capable of generating electricity, imagine what else it can do if trained correctly. And the truth is that we can turbocharge this internal generator with a few simple habits. Activities like meditation, learning new skills, and exercising stimulate brain plasticity, making the brain more efficient. And speaking of metabolism, did you know that sleeping can burn more calories than sitting around watching TV for hours? This brings us to another fascinating fact about the human body. It may sound strange, but it's true. Sleeping uses more energy than lying on the couch watching TV. While we sleep, our bodies continue to work at full capacity, regulating hormones, repairing tissues, and consolidating memories. All of this requires energy, and our metabolism remains active, burning calories even when we're deeply rested. When we're watching TV, our bodies go into energy-saving mode, reducing calorie expenditure. In other words, believe it or not, lying on the couch can be less productive for our metabolism than simply getting a good night's sleep. But how much does sleep actually affect our calorie burn? On average, a person who weighs about 150 pounds can burn between 50 and 70 calories per hour while sleeping. Over the course of a full night, that number can exceed 400 calories, the equivalent of a brisk walk. However, if our sleep quality is poor, the effect can be the opposite. Sleep deprivation disrupts hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which control hunger, increasing appetite and promoting weight gain. In other words, not getting enough sleep can not only reduce your calorie burn, but also cause you to eat more the next day. And if your goal is to maintain an efficient metabolism, creating a quality sleep routine is essential. Sleeping in a dark environment, avoiding screens before bed, and having a regular sleep schedule are simple strategies that can make all the difference. And speaking of sleep, have you ever noticed how breathing through your nose at night can impact your health? Here's another surprising fact that few people know. Most of the cells in our bodies are microscopic, but there is one impressive exception: the egg cell. This is the largest cell in the human body and can be seen with the naked eye, measuring about 0.1 millimeters in diameter. To put it in perspective, it is the size of a grain of sand. This makes sense when we think about the role of the egg. It needs to store enough nutrients to sustain the first cell divisions after fertilization. It is a veritable survival package ready to start life. The other cells in the body, on the other hand, are tiny but incredibly efficient. Neurons, for example, can be up to a meter long, but their thickness is invisible to the naked eye. And red blood cells, responsible for transporting oxygen, are so small that thousands of them could fit on the head of a pin. Human biology is a spectacle of microscopic engineering, and each cell has a specific function, working together to keep everything running smoothly. Now, knowing that there is a cell so big that we can see it raises an interesting question. If something so small can have such a big impact on our lives, imagine what happens when we hear a song and get goosebumps. Is there a scientific explanation for this, or is it just an emotional reaction? The answer may surprise you. You know that overwhelming feeling when you listen to a song and feel a chill run through your body? That's not just emotion, it's science in action. When we hear a melody that moves us deeply, the brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This phenomenon occurs because music activates areas of the brain related to survival and emotion, creating an intense and often involuntary experience. It's almost as if the brain is rewarding us for enjoying something it finds valuable. Interestingly, not everyone gets goosebumps when listening to music. It may be linked to emotional sensitivity and the way the brain processes sounds. People who do get this effect tend to have stronger neural connections between the regions responsible for hearing and emotions. In other words, if you've ever caught yourself closing your eyes and getting goosebumps when listening to a song, your brain may have a stronger connection to that type of experience. And this explains why some songs can transport us to specific moments in our lives or even bring tears to our eyes without warning. Furthermore, this reaction can be heightened by certain types of music. Songs with sudden changes in tone, dramatic crescendos, or unexpected harmonies tend to trigger this response more easily. Want to try it? Try listening to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody or Beethoven's Ninth Symphony and see how your body reacts. Fascinating, isn't it? The most impressive thing is to realize how our body is full of little mysteries and unexpected reactions. And now that you know all this, what else could be going on inside you without you realizing it? Now that you've discovered all this about your body, tell me, how many of these curiosities did you already know? It's incredible to realize how we live inside a real machine full of secrets, isn't it? Knowing how our body works gives us more control over our health, our habits, and even the way we see the world. So, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to continue ignoring these incredible details, or are you going to start paying more attention to what your body tries to tell you every day? If this content surprised you, imagine what else you can learn. Here, we're always unraveling mysteries and bringing you information that no one tells you. So, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who will also be surprised by these discoveries. See you next time.